the use in trying? All your misheard lyrics and paraphrases driving me. Oh, that there's no denying. But do you even know what you're singing? The perilous of its words and disgracing their meaning. Oh, how welcome to the one-man show. And tell me, why won't you listen to a word that inspires me? And why won't you listen to me? Well, you know what you've done. You've become an icon. Well, you've embellished your ways and abused them for all. So tell me, how does it feel beating around the bush? And that, my friend, is a double meaning. And you think it what makes you so stubborn? Welcome to the one-man show. And tell me, why won't you listen to a word that inspires me? And why won't you listen to me? Why won't you listen to me? Oh,
Good evening, race fans. Urban Pirate here. Welcome to 2023 at Black Flag Racing TV. How about that? A whole new year now. But the racing action just continues on from last year. This is the new round of, it's round 4, in fact, of the GR4 lottery. Is it round 3? That's round 4 of GR4 lottery. We're at Dragon Trail International Raceway, Seaside division. No full lobby for tonight, unfortunately, but it's that kind of thing. It's the beginning of the year and it's only the 2nd of January. So a few people still got shizzle to do and are not racing. But looking forward to an excellent night of racing today. We're expecting a lot of, I think, 11 races today. Although one is a new race. We haven't seen him yet. He did sign him before, didn't come, and doesn't look like he's turning up today with only about 8 minutes till the race starts. No qualifying, as you know, it is a reverse championship order. reverse championship order will be as follows. If he turns up, 4Fish will be at the front of the grid, being that he has 0 points. Doesn't turn up today, he will be removed from the championship, of course. Then it will be Stonecutter. TJ will be heading up the second row with J49. Bandit and GMAC on row 3. Row 4 will be Cool Runnings and Fubar. Aussie and Stormfly on row 5. And Wiggy on row 6. No Kevin racing today. So good opportunity for those in and around to get the points required. And we'll see how everything gets on with that. Bear with me. Sorry, my daughter's laptop got locked. It is now fixed. This evening in the lobby we've got Stonecutter. He is in the V8 Aston Martin Vantage, not Vanquish, Vantage. M4 for TJ. Old Man Jay's in that Cayman Club Sports. Bandit also in the M4 BMW. GMAC in the GR Supra race car. Cool Runnings running in that Cayman GT4 Club Sports, as is Fubar Phalantis. Aussie Rooster in the Aston Martin V8. Stormfly in that Cayman GT4. Sylvia, the only Sylvia racing today actually for Wiggy. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on, being the only one in that car. In terms of league standings, this is where we are at. I don't know why I've cut the vehicle off like that. It's a silly thing to do, isn't it? So let me move that. That's better, isn't it? That's much better. Oh, stay still. There we go. Kevin 77 leads away 95 points, but not racing today. Really good opportunity for that gap, which is only 21 points to be closed. If Wiggy Star Group wins today in that Sylvia, that will put him top of the tree. Yellow Sausages obviously unable to race, still on the mend, so won't be racing this evening. Stormfly VR46 in 4th place. Good opportunity for him to break into that top 3. Forza, he's not racing today, he's running in 5th place. Then we've got Aussie Rooster running in 6th, Ranger in 7th, and he's not racing. He's not racing today either. Surprising, really. GMAC running in 8th place. Nick John Baker. Actually, these are the wrong scores. I think we've got different scores than this. I'm going through it, and I'm pretty sure everyone's on more points than that. So ignore me. I'll try and find the real scores in a minute. I've just looked, and it's last week's scores. Bear with me. I will find that. I have returned, sorry for that. Right, I am going to find the correct standings, because for some reason, for whatever reason, I don't know what that is, I have the wrong ones up there. I do need to change the battery in my mouse, because it's not working. Hold on, hold the line call up. It's professional as always, as you can see. Nothing changes in terms of professionalism. There we go, let's try again, shall we? Let's upload the correct ones. Where is the setting standings? There we go. Let's try now, shall we? That's a much more accurate representation. There we go. So Kevin actually on 137, Star Group sitting on 116, and Stormfly in 3rd on 94 points. That's much more accurate. Aussie Rooster in 4th, Yellow Sausages in 5th, but he'll drop down that order today because Fubar is racing. Cool Running's also racing on joint on 52 points. Forza's not racing, neither is Ranger. GMAC is, he will jump up that order. No Manxman today, he will drop down a little bit, depending on, of course, the performance of Bandit, Jay, and TJ Ghost, who is racing. Stonecutter, who will lead us out today, in 19th place, should pick up a few points today. It's always good when you've got the one good thing about having a smaller number in the mix is that there's more points on offer for those that finish towards the rear. So we've got 10 runners by the looks of it. It doesn't look like that fourth fish is going to turn up, which is fine. It is what it is. So practice currently underway. I think we'll jump in. We'll have a little look and see what sort of times we're looking at so far in terms of track time, shall we? You can tell that I've not practiced this for a bit. Alright, so just waiting for it to wake up a little bit. I'm still struggling a little bit with a bit of lag. There have been a few lobby problems over the Christmas period. I don't know if anyone's noticed, with people struggling to get on track and having to jump in and out and restart lobbies and all sorts. I'm hoping it's not indicative of the future. I imagine it's just because of the bigger influx of people during that time. But so far, the fastest man on track is Stormfly VR46 in that Porsche Cayman. He's done a 1:46.0. G-Mac has done a 46.8. Looks to be his quickest lap. He's running in the Toyota Supra, GR Supra. There's TJ in that BMW. He looks to be third fastest at the moment. Just 1 second off Stormfly's pace. And at the moment, Stormfly's struggling to get past him. And BMW holding him up. Aussie Rooster in the Aston Martin, just 0.04 of a second slower than TJ in practice at 47.1 for him. Bandit also in that BMW, fifth fastest at the moment in practice. There is Mr. Cool Runnings. He is just 2.5 seconds off Stormfly. He's got a bit of time to make up there. But we know this is a good track and always good for a mistake or two, particularly in the chicane of death. Let's find somebody on starting a hot lap and we'll follow him around. That's Jay just succumbing to the wall after that chicane of death. So we go. So here is a lap on board with Stormfly. You round turn one at full pelt. You're looking for that 100-metre ball before you brake, get turned in apex, and the second turn is much more important than the first here. You want to make sure you can get that power on early to power through the second of that chicane, the right hander of that chicane. They're like the road, and it is literally a little lift, if anything at all, to get around there before you're on the brakes, down into third gear, get the rotation, and then back on the power again to head down the hill under that Larini advertising board. And keeping the car to the right hand side, and here you literally just a little dab of brake off that accelerator and then back on the power once you've got the rotation, so you can go flat out all the way down here. And it's a really quick part of this track here. Get your angles right. You are flat all the way down to the bottom of the hill to the biggest braking zone of the circuit here in Croatia. End of this little chevron strip is get on the brakes, get it turning you on nice and early so you can get on the power and let the car drift right out to that wall and straight up. Then you come into this tricky little section. You've got a little chicane here. You can cut pretty much most of that. Then you literally just got to lift, get it turned in, and avoid the chicane of death. It can always unsettle you if you catch that wrong on the way out. You might miss the chicane of death itself, but those curves can really unsettle your car and send you flying off into the wall. Tricky turn here to get right. If you get this perfect, you can get on the power early enough, it gives you a massive rundown across the line for a good solid lap time. So three key areas here at Croatia. It's that final turn onto the main straight to give you a nice good run up the hill towards turn one. Then you've got the sort of twisty 5-speed section in sector 2, which takes you down the hill to the big braking zone. You want to make sure you get a good exit out there so you can get some good pace and obviously be able to go flat all the way through. And then of course it is the chicane of death. It's one of those turns where you're better off just getting it going in a little bit slower, maybe sacrificing a little bit of time going in to make sure that you can get out well and not clip the wall on the way out. And the other problem, of course, with the chicane of death is if one person's buried in it and you're behind them, you can very likely get taken out. And there is a video you will find somewhere on the YouTube of the day I raced here and got absolutely targeted. I don't think it was intentional. It just so happened that I had 3 comers together, all with the same person. one here and the other two at the Chicane of Death, and it was just by virtue of being where they were when they crashed. So very, very easy to do. So not far away from starting race number 1 here, and it is reverse grid. As I said, Stonecutter will lead everybody out. Stonecutter from TJ, then Jay, Bandit row 2, G-Mac and Cool Runnings in row 3, Fubar Aussie row 4, and row 5 will be Stormfly, Wigan Stormfly, who are leading out the championship at the moment. Will be interesting actually, because it's quite a quick start here and you've got a good run down to turn 1. So what you'll find is the guys at the back will get a little bit more slipstream off the line than those out front. Difficult to overtake in the first couple of corners, not without maybe creating an issue. And particularly here, there's only really one line through here, and certainly only one line through here. There's no really going around the outside. If you go around the outside into that the first part of the chicane, then you're going to be stuck going around on the inside of the other, or risking of coming together. There is an opportunity just in that turn there where he was going to possibly make an overtake, but it's really on the straights with slipstreams the opportunity, and obviously if anyone crashes. The bottom of the hill here as well is a very good opportunity. Anyone goes a little bit deep on the brakes at the bottom of this hill, and I'll show you where I mean. So, you know, obviously if you get that wrong, you're giving someone some impetus to get through. If they get a better exit, they've got the slipstream which will help them get through. And then you've got the bottom of the hill here. Sorry, my daughter's still having problems with her computer. Who would have thought that I would be explaining Roblox to an 8-year-old? A game I have no understanding of at all. But there we go. I've learned something new. I've learned how to play Roblox. She looked at she's playing on a laptop for the first time, and she's used to playing on a mobile or a tablet. Obviously, the controls are a little bit different, apparently. I don't know. I don't know why you're asking me. I think Roblox is stupid. Oh, big spin there from G-Mac in practice. Can't park that there, mate. Cannot park that there. 2 minute get tyres ready. So it is 2 competitor tyres. You've got softs and mediums. You have to run both compounds. How you choose to run them is entirely up to you. It is really a one-stop. I suppose it depends how quick you want to go. You could, if you were so minded, do it in 2 stops. I think though one-stop strategy is the way to go here in the GR4 lottery. It certainly seems to be the fastest way around, just because of the time loss in the pits, to be honest. Because it's 2 half-hour races. First race is championship reverse grid order. Second race is reverse from the first race order. So it's you're going to expect to see the faster guys make their way through in race number 1, and then have to start from the back and make their way through it again. And at the moment, so far in this competition, we haven't seen too many upsets. Half hours just seems to be long enough for those quicker guys to make their way through. Big day today for Wiggy and Stormfly. Opportunity for them to close the gap on Kevin, or even overtake him as he's not racing today. Good opportunity as well for G-Mac. You know, obviously he can't race every race, so he's trying to get himself further up towards the front. Aussie as well. Aussie's always a good outside bet around here. You know, Aussie really likes to tinker with his cars and get these settings right, and he was very strong, particularly the first half of GR4 lottery last season. Very, very strong. But it's season 2, anything can happen, and it can all change. Lots of new stuff coming up on Black Flag TV this year. First of all will be season 2 of GR3 lottery. We've got the final race of season 1. It's not GR3, what lottery we're talking about. It's just in GR3. Season 1 finishes on Wednesday. We have the culmination of season 1 this Wednesday. We then move on a couple of weeks break, and then we move on to season 2. And with the popularity of season 1, particularly in the second half of the season, it's very much looking like it's going to be a 2-lobby type scenario. So really looking forward to that, because 2 lobbies means lots and lots of racing. I don't know how we're going to deal with the broadcast for that, but we'll come up with a plan, Batman. But here we go. Stonecutter leads out the way. How quickly and how well did he get away from the line? Let's quickly jump out and jump back in. Who gets away well? The BMW from TJ would look to try and get big movement, and he does straight away up into the lead of this race here at Dragon Trail Seaside. He takes the lead, and Bandit in the second BMW moves up into second place. So for the BMWs complaining about their performance, starts out very, very well, and we know that they performed very well in the first half of Tokyo. How well can they continue as a Stonecutter in that Guinness V8, just struggling to hold off the charge of those behind? Stormfly already up into 5th place. Wiggy not made much inroads from 10th though, and finds himself stuck behind GMAC, just trying to edge his way through. So it's GMAC, Wiggy, Old Man J at the rear of the pack at the moment. TJ though already opened up a 1.7 second gap over Bandit. Now here's the thing, if TJ can really get that BMW dialed in this first stint, and Bandit doesn't, but he's just quick enough to hold up those guys behind, it's really going to give TJ a brilliant opportunity later on in the race, because he's going to be able to build up a nice fat cushion. So Bandit running in second. He's got Cool Runnings just behind him in the Cayman. He is only half a second back, and we know how nimble and quick that Cayman can be. Stormfly up to 4th place already, really looking to capitalise on the absence of Kevin today. And they all go through that chicane of death, and everybody is safe. The first time out, little clip of the wall there though. That's going to cost him some time. Stormfly will breeze through up into the top 3. That is a brilliant first lap from Stormfly. Gets himself up into the top 3 from the back of the grid. Cool Runnings drops down to 4th place. Wiggy's made some massive moves forward himself up to 5th place. He was 10th. He's in that silver, but he's 3 seconds back from Cool Runnings at the moment. Aussie Rooster in the V8, 2.8 seconds back from Wiggy. Stonecutter just dropping through that order, 2.8 seconds behind the other Aston Martin at the moment, with GMAC not making his way through the field as we expected in that GR Supra, 2 seconds off the front of the car in front of him, and 14 seconds off the lead at the moment. Fubar Fernandez, he's just behind. He is looking to try and find a way around GMAC. He's been running really well as Fubar actually, and he's in that Porsche Cayman, so really, really good opportunity in that car. Half a second back. Old Man J looks like he's had a crash of some sort. He's 13.7 seconds back, and just looks like he overdrove there as well. Just needs to. Oh, there's a spin. Spin from Jay's already having a bad day at the office. Just needs to settle a little bit. Not try. I think he may have tried to push too hard in that first lap with cold tyres. But he has started actually on the medium compound tyres, which don't have the huge amount of grip. But it will stand him in good stead for the second half of the race. They do start just on half a tank of fuel. So there is an element of fuel management involved, but not a huge amount. But on those medium tyres, he'll take that right to the end of that fuel load and then switch out for the much nicer soft compound tyre. Who else is so Fubar running on the soft tyre? He makes his way around Stonecutter, who's also running on those medium tyres in that Aston Martin V8. Fubar on the softs. He is in the Cayman, of course. GMAC in that GR Supra. 1.8 seconds ahead of Fubar on the medium compounds. So playing the long game here is GMAC. He wants to get rid of those medium tyres, make himself racy in the second half of this race. And it should be that those soft tyres should hold out for a full tank of fuel here in the second stint. But we'll see. Can be quite abrasive, this track. 4.2 seconds up to Aussie Rooster, who is currently running in 6th place on the medium compound tyres as well. So a lot of people opting for that strategy of getting the medium tyres out of the way. Also Wiggy starting on those medium compound tyres. This is a particularly good track for Wiggy. He tends to perform quite well here. So we'll expect to see some movement forward as the race progresses. Cool Runnings also opted to start on those medium tyres. So these guys at the moment playing the long game. Stormfly's not. Stormfly has decided soft tyres for me and trying to build up as big a gap as he can. And at the moment crawling all over the back of that BMW of Bandit. The BMW's not so bad now, are they, guys? Starting to hold our own out in front. Just 0.3 at the moment is the gap between Bandit and Stormfly. But we know this section you just cannot make a pass here. You're relying on the car in front making a mistake to make a pass here, and they look to be through safely. Neor was, it looked like he clipped the wall there, but I think he just avoided that. TJ is 1.8 seconds up the road, but look at that. Top 4 all flying the Dutch flag. Although we know Mr. Cool Runnings will soon have that UK flag next to his name. No more Dutch flag for him. It's the Jamaican currently in Holland. Will be moving to the UK soon. So, but at the moment, look at that. That's a Dutch top 4. I think they can claim that quite safely at the moment. So TJ 2.1 seconds clear. His fastest lap is at 1:46.6. He's on the soft compound tyres. His aim is to try and build a big gap early on, get right out in front, and give himself the best possible opportunity on the medium tyres in that second stint. Bandit also opted for those soft tyres. And look at how much has already come out of those soft tyres in his first stint. You have to wonder whether the soft tyres will hold out with a full tank of fuel for the second stint here to make this a one-stop, or if they're going to have to two-stop this with just a little splash of fuel each time. Bandit's still holding off Stormfly. Is there anything Stormfly can do to get around him? At the moment, he just doesn't seem to have that additional burst of pace over the BMW. He's really close here. It's going to be Brave under the brakes. Who's got the biggest kahunas here coming into this massive 180 switchback right-hander? And goes for it. Oh, what a beautiful move. He went for the out to in. Little switcheroo. Stormfly moves up into second place. That is a brilliant overtake there. The door just left open for him on the inside. So he does he goes in wide, takes that little switcheroo and takes second place. Now, spin there from Bandit. He does arrest that slide, gets the car back under control. 2.5 seconds though he's lost to Stormfly there with that little wobble, and that's pushed him back towards Wiggy. Wiggy has now made his way in front of Cool Runnings, but Cool Runnings not letting him go, and he's going to be tucked right in that slipstream as we head up the hill to complete lap 4 here. 7 minutes into this 30-minute race in this Dragon Trail Seaside here in Croatia. And look at that backdrop, it's beautiful, and it's a shame it's not a real track. Imagine racing with that back. You'd probably crash just looking at how beautiful that background is, wouldn't you? I certainly would. So, how's everyone's 2023 going so far? All right for everyone? Enjoying it so far? Would be awesome. There's going to be plenty of racing. New things coming up on Black Flag TV. We have got Black Flag Rivals coming up later this month. It is Subaru versus Lancer. It's literally it's an individual event, but it is a team-based event. We will be rolling the lottery for the teams. People are not picking their own cars. The cars are very, very similar. It's Scooby versus Evo. It's going to be a really, really cool competition. 7 cars on each team, and it will literally be 7v7 on the track. So we won't have full lobbies there. We'll just have 15. But it's an individual competition, but it's also a team-based event. There will be points allocated for the teams as well. Once we've got the top 14 entered into that, we will obviously offer our places to reserves who can race and cover for anyone that can't make the race. Well, we'll work out a way for it to go. But yeah, really looking forward to that as a team-based competition. We've got plenty of other stuff coming up as well. We've got the Euro trips and Black Flag F1 on a Friday evening. We may have another one arranged for Tuesday. We'll let you know on that one. And of course, we've got the Porsche Cup. We've got Joe representing us in the GT Champions Porsche Cup, which is coming up this week, the qualifiers. So look forward to that, because I'm going to be involved in the commentary for those qualifying games, qualifying races, and And then, of course, later on this year, the GT Champions World Cup, along with GT Fusion Championships. And we're going to have drivers racing in all of those competitions. But that's alongside all of the action we've got here with our own stuff. And at the moment, this is your leader. TJ's in that BMW. He's got the car absolutely where he wants it underneath him at the moment. He's on those soft compound tyres, 2.4 seconds clear of Stormfly, who's looking to... A double win here today is really going to help him in championship stakes and help him just to edge those points closer to Kevin, who is not racing today. He's been quite dominant so far. Not only dominant, he is the GR4 lottery champion, but very dominant so far in the early stages of season 2. Bandit running in third place, couldn't hold off the charge of Stormfly for very long, now finds himself back in third place, 4.9 seconds back, but has stayed ahead of Wiggy. 2.6 seconds is that gap, 7 seconds off the leader. Pit window's going to be somewhere around lap 8, lap 7, lap 8, possibly for most of them, maybe lap 9. I think those are better at looking after their fuel are going to be pitting around lap 9, and I think we'll see people like Wiggy possibly doing that. He's got past Cool Runnings, but he isn't able to get rid of him. He's still got Cool Runnings in that slipstream behind him, who's just chugging along, waiting for any opportunity to get through. But I think with Cool Runnings, he's going to need to pit probably a little bit sooner in terms of fuel. But once you essentially works like this: if you can get to the 10-minute mark with your half tank of fuel, a full tank will take you the second stint all the way. If you can get that half a tank of fuel to about the 15-minute mark, which is going to be somewhere around lap 9, lap 10, then you can really underfuel for the second half of this race with maybe just over half a tank and give yourself that impetus to be able to push. Aussie Rooster 5.9 seconds back in that V8. He's in very comfortable position already and has given himself an 8.5 second gap behind to Fubar, so can just get his lines running, just get that car ticking along. He's going to pull into the pits, I would have thought, probably at the end of this lap actually. He's going to burn a lot of fuel in the early stages here, but he will have those soft compound tyres underneath him for the second stint. There is Fubar running on the soft compound tyres. Needed to get a few places up the order in order to make them really, really work. It's going to be on the medium compound tyres for the remainder. Well, unless, of course, he chooses to stop this race, to do 3 stints, then actually might have another opportunity on the softs later on. I'm not sure that's the best strategy at this stage, though. GMAC not able to get the car dialed in. Excuse me, and already finds himself, he's 30 seconds off the lead, 4.3 behind Fubar. He's going to have to come in at the end of this lap, and we know that Gary's not good at looking after fuel. He's going to have to put in a full tank to get him to the end of this race, and probably have a car following around and give him some more later on. He does love to drink it, does Gary. A little wobble there, but he does get the car back under control relatively quickly. So TJ in, Stormfly in, that will send Wiggy through into the lead of this race. It was about as we thought. Bear with me, just got to let my son in. Hold the line corner. Apologies for that, my son just arriving back from sunny Scotland, where he's been, it's taken him hours to travel, to be fair, because the Scottish have no decent train services. But anyway, where are we? We are on lap 8. Quite a few have jumped into the pits. There is Wiggy. One more lap for him, maybe one more after that if he's brave enough. He's on those medium compound tyres. He's 14 seconds clear. Fubar has stayed out for one more lap. That's very brave. His fuel is looking ropey. He's still got a little bit of a way to go. Still got an entire sector to do before he can get into the pits. And I know you guys can't see the fuel, but I'll tell you what, it's not looking super awesome for him at the moment. He's fuel map 6 in that mofo all the way home. Let's hope he doesn't run out before he gets to the line. And if anyone wants to see someone running out of fuel when coming to the line, just check out the GR3 from last week when Kevin lost the race, just slightly underfueled, and lost the race at the last. And it looks like he's just made it in time to the pits. Wiggy into the pits as well. Where is Stormfly? Will he take the lead of this race? He was out ahead of TJ. He's on the medium compound tyres now. How much ahead is he? Well, he's only put 3/4 of a tank of fuel in, which should be enough to see him through. Bandit has gone, I think Bandit might have just underfueled a little bit there. TJ gone for half a tank, so he thinks he can make this all the way. And to be fair, if you've used half a tank to get to this stage, you could probably use half a tank to get to the end. Now, the question really, and it's a bit of an odd one because Stormfly's that far ahead already, and yet he put more fuel in the car. So you have to wonder how he got out so quick. But that said, TJ is stuck behind Bandit at the minute, so there must have been an issue somewhere with his outlap because he's in 4th place behind Bandit. Wiggy gets out in 2nd place. So that overcut's been very, very powerful for Wiggy and giving him some real good opportunity. Yeah, so where are we? Sorry about that. My daughter's got a little bruise in her arm, and I had to feel it. Of course you do, as you do. So Stormfly in the lead, 4.5 seconds clear, and it's the outlap there. If you look at the 150, so you had the 146 lap 6, 221 when he went into the pits. The 150.8 was his outlap, and that's made the difference. Because if you look at TJ's outlap at the 203, really bad lap from him. That's cost him significant time coming back out because he put in less fuel. So he should have, all intents and purposes at this stage, be ahead. But unfortunately, no. Wiggy 4.5 seconds back. He's got Bandit right up behind him. Now, Wiggy on the soft compound tyres is going to run to the end of this race number 1. Has enough fuel certainly to make it there. But it obviously depends how much he's going to have to push. Now, Stormfly in front is on the medium compound tyre, which is going to cost him a little bit of time. GMAC just put, that's a blistering lap. 1:45.9 for him. So he's certainly got some pace back there in 8th place at the moment, but it's how much time can he make up. So let's have a run from the back forward. It's almost though that every time, I'm going to stop watching Jay because every time we watch him, he seems to have a little spin. Sorry mate, it's not intentional. But commentator's curse seems to be striking again. Another big spin there from you. But it just goes to show if you come out of that chicane of death just a little bit squirrely, it's just how easy it is to lose the back end of your car and things to go horribly wrong. But he's having a day to forget. First couple of laps weren't great. Did start to find a bit of rhythm, but since his pit stop, not so much so, and is down in 10th place. Stonecutter from the United States of America. He's in that Aston Martin V8. He's 18 seconds behind GMAC. Again, didn't have a great first lap. I think consistency has been the issue for these guys at the tail end of the pack at the moment. But they will again start at the front of the grid in race number 2, and if they can put in some good times, who knows? He's just done 1:48.9. He's on the soft tyres now, so those lap times are coming down. And Fubar has had a crash coming out of that chicane of death, and he's got damage all over the place. That 19-second gap back to Stonecutter is going to get a lot smaller very, very quickly, and the 12-second gap to GMAC is going to get bigger. Look at the difference. Stonecutter really closing down on Fubar, and GMAC really opening up now. That's a bit of a blow, especially after doing a 1:47.6. on his the lap before he went into the pits, and that's the difference now. You can just see Stonecutter there. You can see Fubar there in the distance, and that will give him a little bit of impetus to just try and push on from there. Moving forward, there is GMAT 3-second penalty. Now you've got to wonder what that's for, because it can't be for pit lane, because he came out of the pits quite some time ago. So you've got to wonder how he crashed, or where he went, or how big a corner did he cut to get a 3-second penalty. That's crazy, absolutely crazy. Or did he hit someone? That's the other thing. Do you know what? I think that's going to happen. I'm just going to go to everyone when they hit the chicane of death, and they'll all just spin. It'll just be carnage, mate. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. But BMWs seem to be performing much better today. And it looks like Wiggy's had a problem, because Wiggy is back in 4th place. Now, we'll have a look at his lap time here, but he certainly looks to be a lot slower than previously. 1:56 that last lap. So it definitely lost a lot of time, because TJ in the BMW and Bandit in the other BMW, both up into the top 3. Stormfly's opened up that gap out front to 8.2 seconds and really dialed it in on those medium tyres. Just seems to get a very similar grip with those medium tyres. Hasn't really got that much slower. Less than a second a lap he's losing. And as we say that, around and around and around he goes. And listen, my friend Aaron, you cannot park that car there. How much time has that cost him? As we see the third, here comes TJ. Is he going to make the move through? He's just in behind his Stormfly. I think Stormfly's just lucky enough to get to the corner, and TJ have to slow before he can use that impetus. But he slides it back in there again, and TJ goes through into the lead of this race in the BMW. Retakes the lead here with probably only about 6 laps remaining here. That is a really, really big blow for Stormfly. Lost the back end. It's me watching people, jinxes them. So yeah, big spin from Stormfly. In fact, 2 spins, one spin and one little back end wobble. And TJ from 4th place back into the lead of this race. Bandit still in 3rd. TJ got past him and is now up into the lead. But Bandit is in that top 3, 2.2 seconds clear of Wiggy, only 1.1 behind Stormfly right now. So there is Wiggy. Must have had he definitely had a problem on lap 10. 1:56. He was 10 seconds quicker on lap 11. So this chicane of death is proving to be an absolute fucking nightmare for everybody. And that's I suppose that's the beauty of this track, isn't it? Is that you dial it in and you can churn in 1:45.9s like GMAC did, or you can absolutely cock up the chicane of death and die. So here we go, Wiggy closing that gap on the BMW. He's in on the soft compound tyres, but Bandit's on the medium, so he's going to be losing a little bit of grip in that BM to Wiggy as we just see the lights starting to fade. Wiggy closing it down. Half a second is that gap. Can he make a move? Not a good place to make a move here, nor here. But if he can pick up a bit of slipstream, he can make a move on the not straight bits as they come around here. So I'm going to watch the overtake first, and then we'll have a look. Right, that's a brilliant corner there from Wiggy. Right in behind Bandit. He's got that slipstream. He's going to have to navigate this tricky left-hander, just letting off the power a little bit. Looking up the inside, is there a move on there? No, it's not. He's going to have to tuck in behind again and try and make the move in this big 180 right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Unless he can get the move done before, and he's got a really good slipstream. Bandit's going to defend that inside line for all of his might. Or he's not. He's staying outside. Is he going to go for the old switcheroo? Doesn't look like it. Wiggy on the brakes very, very late, and makes that overtake and makes it stick. So Bandit can only watch as Wiggy moves up into the top 3 and relegates Bandit out of the top 3. So let's have a look. Stormfly is back in the lead. It looks like it was just a plain overtake. Doesn't look like TJ's lost any significant time in terms of lap time, but we'll have a look as they cross the line. But Stormfly already back to just over 1 second ahead. So despite his attempts at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, Stormfly has managed to get back into the lead. It's 1.3 seconds clear. That was for Stormfly 1:47.4. It lost 9 seconds on the previous lap. 1:49.4 from TJ. He's on the medium tyres, remember? Or they're both on the medium tyres, in fact. I still think Wiggy's a good outside bet here. He's on the soft compounds. Yeah, there's only, probably 4 laps left. But he's on the soft compound tyres. The gap to Stormfly in front is only 3.6 seconds. If he can keep this on the road and Stormfly keeps spinning as he has been, this could be a good photo finish. Bandit holding on in 4th place in that BMW. BMW performing very well here today, which after the race one, a lot of people didn't think was going to happen. But they are starting to show some pace here in this GR4 lottery. Cool Runnings, no better than 5th place. He's 7 seconds behind Bandit at the moment, and the only problem he's got is he's going to have Aussie bearing down, and they're both on soft compound tyres. But it looks to me that it's going to be a little bit about tyre management for these last 5 minutes, because the left front tyre, which takes a little bit of pressure, is just going to be struggling to hold on in 2 or 3 laps time. So who can hold on to those tyres better? Can Aussie Rooster close that gap? And at the moment it's only 1.1 second. So Cool Running's got some work to do to keep that very strong Aston Martin V8 behind. Then we've got the fastest man on the racetrack with a 1 at 45.9. Mr. Drink the Fuel himself, G-Mac, Gary G-Mac. He is 4.6 seconds back in that Supra. Wobble, he goes through the chicane of death, but does survive. So no commentator's curse for him going through the chicane of death. And he will complete another lap. But I tell you what, he's going to be one of those struggling on these soft tyres towards the end of this race. There's Fubar holding on ahead of Stonecutter. 1.2 seconds is the gap. The gap has come down ever since Fubar had his little wobble going through that chicane. 22 seconds back Fubar is from G-Max. It's going to be very difficult to make any inroads into him at this stage. Old Man Jay, absolute nightmare for him. We had really bad start to this race and a couple of really bad laps in the middle, and it's just cost him so much time. He's 53 seconds back in 10th place. So there's your leaders, 3.5 seconds now ahead of TJ. He's put the spins behind him and has managed to open up a nice juicy gap at the front, and should, if he doesn't spin again of course, should manage to win this race number 1, which of course start him at the back of the grid for race number 2. As we're watching TJ and Wiggy fight out for second, TJ very wide. Wiggy goes through, takes second place from TJ. So TJ, well, bear in mind that he led this race early on, took the lead pretty much from the start, led this race right up until the first pit window. Came out of the pits quite far behind and bad up, and a smack on the wall in that chicane of death. And I've nearly got the commentator's full house bingo on smashing into the chicane as I've panned the camera to you. Who have I not laid the curse upon yet? So TJ now not worrying about second. He's got to worry about this charge from Bandit behind. He's got a bit of damage to contend with. He's running a bit low on fuel where he's pushed a bit hard. He could be under significant pressure from this other BMW of Bandit as they close down at the end of lap 15. And Bandit tucked well in behind. And this could prove to be a disastrous day at the office. He just moves across to defend that line, but I don't think there's much he can do. Bandit makes the move up into third, or does he? Side by side they go. TJ's got the inside line, but he's got to back out. He cannot hold that position, and Bandit moves himself back up into that top 3. TJ can't hold on. Drops down into 4th place. The chicane of death is just absolutely messing everyone's race up today. Everybody's having problems around there. Love this racetrack just for that and that alone. Does this bring Aussie Rooster into the fold? TJ is a little bit low on fuel. He's only got, it's probably 2 laps remaining. But I tell you what, he's low on fuel and could struggle. At the moment he's holding on to the back of Bandit's BMW. Does not want to drop out of that top 3, especially after leading this race for so long. But I think there's some genuine pressure, maybe from Aussie Rooster, certainly from Cool Runnings as he drags him along with him. So the pair of these now chasing down a potential top 3. And at the moment, it's certain that it can be done, I think. We're looking at that, and that's a move. Devon Gordon tried to make a move up the inside. Didn't make his stick, just had to tuck in behind as we go into the chicane of death again. Are either of these two going to succumb to its walls of pain? Through safely, the pair of them. No one gets damaged through there. Good little run through the chicane of death that time. Last lap for Aussie Rooster was a 1:47.9. The lap before, 1:47.9. TJ 56.2. And Bandit was a 50.2. They're going to be vulnerable. They're really going to be vulnerable, these two, from the charge. Oh, Bandit and Wiggy at this stage. Really big charge going on from them. And already Aussie Rooster is through on TJ. TJ already under pressure as he watches Aussie Rooster just go past. And I think his it's going to be his last lap, but he's going to have to conserve fuel to make it to the end. Can he hold off Cool Runnings? Cool Runnings moves up into 5th place behind Aussie Rooster. GMAC unfortunately finishing 8th place, can't capitalise on any issue for TJ at this stage. So it'll be GMAC from Fubar, he'll come home in 8th. Stonecutter will come home in 9th place, and Old Man J will come home in 10th. We'll just screenshot that quickly in case I forget who finished where. And then we've got the Stormfly coming home in 1st place. I think he's got 3.7 seconds on Wiki now. It's going to be some kind of battle for Wiki at this stage to be able to take 1st place. But you never can tell. You never know what can happen here. In fact, anything could happen here. Just I'm going to edit here and removing forfeits from the race because I'm able to race. There we go. So we can just have the 10 runners that actually made it. We'll update the results as we go. I think we'll be there or thereabouts 1 minute. So I feel really you got to feel for TJ here, because TJ at one stage was leading this race and looking to be shooing for a win here, but Wiggy up into 2nd. Aussie Rooster steals a top 3 place. Cool running through as well. Bandit and TJ dropping out of that top 3 as Stormfly takes the win here in race number 1. Wiggy will come home in 2nd place to take podium space, and Aussie Rooster just stayed in the running here, and a great race from him to take a top 3 spot, with Cool Runnings coming home in 4th place. And you've got to feel for Bandit and TJ. Just TJ out of fuel, and the only thing that's keeping him in 6th place is the very fact that GMAC just didn't make lap 17, and only just didn't make lap 17. So good 4th place there for Cool Runnings, but one stage I think it was 8th place. So some forward movement from those guys. Bandit comes home in 5th. TJ there, we can see him coming home in 6th place, with GMAC coming home in 7th. Fubar takes 8th, Stonecutter in 9th, and Old Man J brings up the rear in 10th place. Fastest lap goes to GMAC. He with the, 1:54. Let's put it in 1:54, 9:84. So race number 1 done at Dragon Trail. We've got race number 2 to come. That will be a reverse grid scenario, of course, from this first race. So, well, what we've got to say, that was a great finish, to be fair. Really, really good finish. Considering how it started as well, it was it's a grid I didn't expect to at the end. I mean, did I expect Stormfly to be up there? Of course I did. And of course I did. I didn't expect to see the shenanigans along the way, though. So what a race that was for our first race back in 2023. And the great thing is we've got one more to go. One more race to go. So I think it'll be a short break while everyone has a wee and a fag and the other bits and pieces. So there we go. There was race number 1 done. It'll be reverse grid. We'll be back shortly with race number 2. Let's have a look at the, I think I've updated the standings correctly. Give me a second. Hold the line call up. We'll find out if I've updated them correctly. Have indeed updated them correctly. So here we go. Star Group leads the way now, 138 points, 1 point clear of Kevin 77. That's a really, really good result from him. A big points haul here, and it can really change the shape of this championship. VR 46 closed that gap, 119 points for him. I thought that would have been closer, to be fair. I can't work out why that's not closer. I think there's something wrong with the league table actually, because he should be closer. Hold the line call up. I know he's updated his score. He is updating his score. Aussie Rooster in third place, 102 points. Fourth place, sorry. Cool Runnings up to fifth. Fubar up to sixth. US Sausages drops down to seventh, but he won't be racing in the rest of this tournament, I would have thought. GMAC moves up into the top 10 in eighth place. Bandit into the top 10 in 10th. But we see a drop from TJ. TJ dropping down at the order. Down to 12th place. Not a great performance from him there, but still all to play for, still plenty to race for. We are on race number 2 very shortly. Everyone's just getting some laps in to practice. I think people need to practice that chicane of death, because that seems to be where everyone has really struggled. I think we saw 4 or 5 different accidents just in that part of the racetrack. But your winner, Stormfly, managed to spin the car, almost spin it again, and still take the win here. So good performance from him. Expecting a better performance from Jay in race number 2. Just didn't get that car dialed in at the beginning of that race, but towards the end seemed to put in some decent laps. So it seems that the fastest way around this racetrack is to start on the medium compound tyres and ramp it up. Those that started on the soft really just seemed to fall away in the second half of the race. Just didn't have the pace, and 2, in the case of TJ, didn't have the fuel either to make it to the end. TJ saved, of course, by GMAC's lack of pace early on. He showed some great pace in the second half, but early on just didn't have the pace to get him through. So we're only probably a minute or so away from restarting, I would have thought. It's going to be difficult to look past Wiggy and Stormfly for top 2 here, but I think, it could be anyone from sort of GMAC or I mean, Aussie definitely made the top 3 last time, but Aussie, Cool Runnings, GMAC, even though TJ and even Bandit on their performances in race number 1, any one of those really can take a position in the top 3 here. And it only takes them, as we saw, a mistake from Stormfly or from Wiggy at some stage in the race, and it can all turn around. So I wouldn't count all your chickens just yet. But great start to 2023, has to be said. We're back tomorrow, of course, with the F1 action, with late night racing F1. Straight back into the action with them tomorrow evening. That's from 8:45. And then obviously we've got the very final round of season 1 of GR3. We will decide our champion, although I think it's pretty much a shoo-in for Kevin to win that. That'll be on Wednesday evening. And then we've got some other stuff coming up this week, which I'll talk about later on in the week. 2 minutes till we start. And I'll tell you what, it really, for me, I think it's going to be key to how you start. It is key how you start. You saw how quickly Stormfly worked his way through. So how quickly, by the end of lap 1, those back markers have worked their way through. Whereas GMAC and Fubar, who are certainly within, have got the pace themselves to be able to, as we talk about GMAC as he puts his car on a wall, they've certainly got the pace amongst themselves to challenge for the top 3. But they didn't quite get through the order quick enough. Now, I'm not confident that starting on soft compound tyres is the right way to go. Really don't think so. I think the only real way to do this is to start on the medium tyres. unless, of course, you're going to build up a big, massive lead. And we saw that TJ tried to do that in race number 2, but it just didn't work out for him. He couldn't build up a big enough lead to capitalise on it in part 2. And obviously, if you make a mistake, it all goes to shit. That's the other problem, of course. But remember, race number 1, we had 4 Dutch guys in the top 4 for quite some time before the Brits got in the mix and got involved and showed them what it's all about. And GMAC is really wiggling that car around the track and finding the limits of its grip. Bandit with a 146.4 in practice in that BMW. But we are not far away from the start of this race. Probably 30 seconds before we get cracking. Great race for Aussie Rooster, got himself into that top 3. Nice big points haul for him. You have to be pleased with that kind of performance. Because at one stage it didn't look like he was even going to make it into the top half. He was not so hot early on, but it just goes to show how quickly things can change. I was just checking the points from the previous round to make sure we were back on. We are correct and all accounted for. So Bandit with a 146.4. Fastest lap so far has been GMAC with a 145.9, I think it was. 145.9. As Stormfly demonstrates that you can go quicker, and I think he's done that on medium. No, he's done it on soft tyres. I think he's done that on medium tyres. 145.7 from Stormfly on the soft compound tyres in that Porsche Cayman. So good run from him there. Aussie was currently running 3.6 seconds further back. But it is reverse grid for this second race. Just waiting for the grid to be set. It's not championship order for the second race, of course, it's just race order. So here we go, we are ready to go. False starts, of course, will be penalised. But let's hope that Old Man J and Stonecoat can get a good start this time. We saw last time that TJ and Bandit, brilliant starts from them, got them up into the top 2 positions of this race early doors. Can they do the same again as we quickly jump back in for the start of this race? And we are away. And it looks like Old Man J got a good start. It looks like Fubar got a great start. Has jumped Stonecutter. Is Stonecutter going to get swallowed up going into turn 1? TJ, great start again from the BMW. So quick off the line. TJ and Bandit moving through into 3rd and 4th place as we head into these little tricky right-left combo. Old Man J leading the way from Fubar Philantis in the Porsche Cayman. So that's 2 Caymans out in front of the minute. BMW of TJ in 3rd place. Stormfly already made his way through. Where's Bandit? Bandit's had an awful time and dropped way back down the order, but Stormfly up into 4th. Elbows out and up into 4th. Looking to make the move on TJ. He's making that move. He's round the outside. Is he going to make it stick? Looks to me like he does, and TJ has to drop into 4th place. Cool Runnings up to 5th with GMAC up to 6th place. Wiggy trying to find a way around him. Currently running in 7th with Stonecutter. Has dropped right down the order. Bandit just in front of him. But Stonecutter's dropped right down the order early on. Aussie Rooster with an awful start. Finds himself right at the very, very back. But don't count him out at this stage. Stonecutter making that move on Bandit. Bandit dropping down the order. He did it again. Remember, he had a great start that got him up quite early on. And has found himself now way down in 9th place. So Old Man J still leads him out. End of lap 1. Everyone looks to have got safely through the chicane of death. Nobody looks to have died too. I was saying that. Wiggy's dropping down the order. It looks like he must have had a little clipperoonie coming through that chicane of death. He's down into 10th place behind Aussie Rooster. GMAC in 7th. Fubar up into 6th. So Stormfly takes the lead of this race, a side by side, drag racing it down to the line. Stormfly, what a lap from him. 10th to 1st in just 1 lap. Absolutely doled that chisel in the first lap and got himself into the lead. Now he's on the soft compound tyres. His sole aim here is to build the big gap. Can he do it? Old Man J holding on for 2nd. He's got Cool Runnings 1.9 seconds back. And there is a big trail at the moment of Cool Runnings, TJ, Stonecutter up to 5th, Fubar 6th place, GMAC 7th, TJ with a 3-second penalty. That has got to be for a massive, either a massive shortcut or a car collision penalty to get that much so early on. That's going to cost him loads and loads of places. So despite the performance of BMWs today, driver error has to go down to the lack of performance. It's just a little bit less fuel. It just didn't work out for them. Strategy played a part. They're starting on the mediums this time, which is the best way to go. Well, certainly for Runnings is. But TJ on those soft compound tyres again, not going too well because he's going to lose as he goes through this penalty line. It's a brutal place to have penalties. He's going to find himself way down. Stormfly 3.2 seconds already in the lead of this race. Old Man Jay holding on in second. Much better first couple of laps from him. Just needs to keep that consistency in the car. Don't overdrive it. Keep it on the racetrack. You're on the medium tyres. Remember, you haven't got the super grip of the soft. You're not going to match the pace of Stormfly out in front. So your job is just to kind of keep it simple. You know, block off the apexes. Don't make it easy for the chasing cars to get through. Cool Runnings running in that top 3. We know that he is a perennial midfield runner and can break his way into the top 3 of any race, given the opportunity. But at the moment, he's got GMAC crawling all over the back of him. Less than 2/10 as they come out of that turn there, and he's looking for a way through. But it is a 3-way battle here for second. Old Man Jay holding off Cool Runnings as they go side by side. No doings for him. Cool Runnings chucks one up the inside. Again, Jay's not giving up here. Absolutely not. He wants to keep second place. There are four cars now getting involved in this battle as Bandit moves in to try and get involved in there. Cool Runnings does get himself up into second place. GMAC tucked in behind the Cayman of Old Man Jay as they head down the hill towards this big braking zone. And this is where you see how big your kahunas are. GMAC moving on to that inside line, or the outside line should I say. Who's going to be the bravest going into this turn? GMAC takes second place. Can he hold it going through the corner? That is some overtake. He took third and he took second in the space of one corner. Moves himself up into the top 2. 7.8 seconds already. Though is the gap to Stormfly out in front. So some work to do if GMAC wants to open that gap up. Wobble, but he makes it stick and does not lose that place. Old Man Jay in third. He's ahead of Bandit. Where is Cool Runnings? Cool Runnings has hit the chicane of death and he is way down in 9th place. Absolutely killed himself. Fubar down there as well. So they both had run-ins with that dreaded chicane of death. And Cool Runnings now back in last place, despite at one stage challenging for second. Actually, it was at one stage in second place. So GMAC up to second, Bandit up to third place again. He dropped down the order previously, but the chicane of death just taking casualty after casualty here at Dragon Trail. It's a nightmare corner for anyone locking up there on the Cayman for Old Man Jay. And Wiggy just moving into 5th place, for 4th place now as he makes that move on Old Man Jay. Next up the road is Aussie Rooster. We saw a big wobble there as he gets on the power, up the inside, makes the move. TJ makes the move, follows him through. It's TJ and Aussie Rooster battling it out for 5th place side by side as we start to head down the hill. TJ tucks it into 5th place ahead of Aussie Rooster in the Aston Martin. So we've got Stormfly out in the lead. He's on those soft tyres. He's built up an 8.5 second lead over GMAC, who made a great double overtake on the last lap to get himself up into second and build up a 2.1 second gap. And now Bandit up into 3rd place. Wiggy in 4th place. Great move by Bandit to get himself up to 3rd. 3.6 seconds back to Wiggy, who's got TJ in 5th, crawling all over the back of him. Aussie Rooster on the TJ on the soft compound tyres. He's got to make these overtakes now, otherwise it's all going to be for shit going on the soft tyres early. And he tries to make the move on Wiggy. He's tucked in behind to get through the chicane again safely. Side by side they go. TJ's got the inside line. Can he make it count as he takes 4th place into the braking zone? And they both turn in. No collision there. TJ makes that 4th place stick on those soft tyres. Needs to chase off up the road after Bandit, who currently runs in 3rd place. So the front runners all on soft compound tyres, and at the moment making it work for them quite well. We'll say that as Wiggy coming back at TJ with the inside line, and a better exit out of that turn will always give you the advantage by the time you get to the end of the straight. And that's what's happened there. He's just got the better line coming through, a little bit more speed coming out, and it's allowed him to close up the gap and retake 4th. But this battle between the two is just playing into the hands of Aussie Rooster. He's tacked onto the back of that battle, just half a second back. Now remember, him and Wiggy, both on the medium compound tyres, can run a little bit longer if they conserve the fuel. But most importantly, and this is the most important thing, is they're going to be on the soft compound tyre in the second stint, and we know that it's quicker. We know it's at least a second a lap quicker, and it's really going to benefit them. And as it did both of them in the first race, they both finished in that top 3 behind Stormfly, who's just been dominant today. Old Man Jay in 7th place, currently 3.1 seconds off that battle, but is ahead, 8 tenths ahead of Stonecutter in that V8 Aston Martin. He himself 3 seconds he's got on Fubar Fernandez, 3.1 seconds, who had a bit of a problem through the chicane, and it's cost him loads of time. Cool runnings, bear in mind that 5 minutes ago even, this guy was in 2nd place in this race. You know, we're on lap 5 now, and all of a sudden he's in last. He's 18 seconds off the lead, 2.3 seconds adrift of Fubar in 9th. And it's that chicane of death that's got a lot to answer for. Just such a tricky corner. And I said it in race number 1 that sometimes the best thing to do through there is just a little bit less speed. But you know, it's worth sacrificing half a second through there to guarantee you don't hit the wall. Because the amount of time you lose if you do hit the wall is just astronomical. And then there's always the danger as well of hitting another car and getting a penalty for that as well. The lead cut to just 2 seconds. Did Stormfly have a problem? Yes, he did. Lap 4 in a 1:54.3. That's a costly 8-second error, which has allowed GMAC just to close up the gap. 1:45.9, fastest lap from Stormfly so far. Bear in mind, they're both on soft compound tyres now. Pit window is going to be lap 7, lap 8. I think it was lap 8 last time. End of lap 7 last time. Should be end of lap 7, maybe lap 8 this time. But they've got a lot of running to do. So Stormfly, GMAC, Bandit, TJ, Wiggy, they're all on the soft compound tyres. They will have to run the medium tyres for the second half of this race. Just behind them we've got Wiggy, Aussie Rooster, Old Man Jay. They will all be running the softs in the second portion of this race. So I wouldn't count out any of those 3, Wiggy, Aussie, I was going to go Ooster, Wiggy, Ooster and Old Man Jay. I wouldn't count any of those 3 out at this stage for a potential top 3, certainly top 5, bearing in mind that they're going to be on the better tyre come part 2 of this race. Particularly if they can hang out a little bit longer on those medium tyres. Then we've got Stonecutter on the soft. We've got Fubar also running on those softs. Mr. Cool Runnings, he's on the medium tyres. But his race is absolutely scuppered by that chicane of death. 2 minutes that lap was, lap 3. Really costing. Has settled into a much better pace now, but not a lot you can really do when you are all the way back there. Stonecutter first, blink first, get the bits. He's going to fuel to full, put on those medium compound tyres and run to the end, and I hope he can nick a place or 2 with a bit of an undercut. We said lap 7, didn't we? It looks to me like Stormfly is going to be in lap 7. He's putting the hammer down again, open the gap out 2-3 seconds. G to the Mac. We know he doesn't like his tyres off fuel. He likes to rip through them. He'll be coming in. He'll be putting on the medium compound tyres. He'll be putting some fuel in that Toyota. Who is brave? How brave are you with the fuel at this stage? You know, we're halfway mark, halfway fuel. But we're under that point, so they've got to account for the fact that they've got to do more than the time they've already done. and try and work out how much fuel they need to make it happen. You know, you don't want to fill it full to full and waste time in a pitch you don't need, but you don't want to put yourself in a position like TJ was last time, where he is trundling round on that last lap with no fuel on board. So Stormfly pulls into the pits. G-Mac over to the right side, he'll pull into the pits. I think we'll see Bandit do the same thing here. He does, he pulls over to that right side and followed in by the BMW of TJ. That frees Wiggy to take the lead of this race. Now, how strong is the overcut going to be this time out? It was pretty strong last time, but G-Mac also going in. So G-Mac in, TJ in, Stormfly in, Bandit in, Aussie in, Fubar in. So Old Man Jay currently running second. He is 10 seconds behind Wiggy. Cool Runnings will come through. Will he take third place before anyone gets out of the pit? Yes, he will. So, top three, Wiggy, Old Man Jay, and Cool Runnings. All still have to pit, of course. So all eyes really on Wiggy and how much further can he take the car. And that was a bit wide there. Pace is going to be king. Can he put in a blistering hot lap here, get in and get back out with enough fuel to allow him to push to the end on the soft compound tyre? Same situation for Old Man Jay. Yes, he will put the end of this lap, but his priority has got to be now he's racing Cool Runnings, he's racing Bandit, he's racing Stonecutter, well not Bandit actually, he's racing Stonecutter and Cool Runnings at the moment. Cool Runnings having such a bad race, and probably Fubar as well, as Fubar had quite a bad start to the race. So that's who they're racing at the moment, and I hope that's not actually, I hope he hasn't got TCS3 on. No, it's flipping back and forth, so it's actually true. But yeah, I just noticed that his TCS was flicked in between 3 and 0. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this overcut benefits Old Man Jay. If he can get out back ahead of those guys, or at least giving himself an opportunity to close back on them. He's going to be on the soft tyres, remember. So we'll see Wiggy turn around. He'll come in that Silvia into the pits. We'll see Old Man Jay follow. We will see Mr. Cool Runnings follow them in. They will change out those medium compound tyres, put on a fresh set of racing softs, put about probably about 55 to 60 litres of fuel. Will give them plenty enough to push. To be fair, 50 litres is probably enough. But you want to have enough in the tank just to be able to give it some beans. So Stormfly goes off into the lead of this race. G-Mac will retake second. Here comes Wiggy as he got himself into the top three. Hell yeah, he has. He takes third place into turn one. Bandit up into fourth. He is just half a second back, but he's got the pace coming through there. He's going to be able to retake third. He does. He's up into third, but goes quite wide. Wiggy back at him, and Wiggy back up into that top three. TJ 2.1 seconds back in fifth place in the BMW. So again, the BMW is running in the top half and running well. Can these guys bring them home? It seems to me to be that the problem with the BMW doesn't really seem to be pace, because it runs consistently in the top half. I think the issue seems to be keeping it consistent. Looks to be what the biggest problem is with it. Look, I'm not a fan of the BMW. I find it quite a difficult car to drive, and maybe that's just the case. It's just that complicated a car to drive. But it was suggested in the mix. It was voted for by a number of people entering the GR4 lottery. So clearly, it's not a car that people didn't want. Aussie Rooster, heroic third place for him in race number one. In sixth place, 1.8 seconds back from that BMW battle. He is on the racing soft tyres, so he's going to be able to take some chunks out of them with that extra grip. He's through safety, no smasheroonie into the chicane for him there. Old Man Jay out in seventh place. He's ahead of Fubar. He's ahead of Stonecutter. He's ahead of Cool Runnings. That's not bad for him. Being on the soft compound tyre as well. He has got Fubar. We know Fubar's quick. We know Fubar can put in some really solid lap times. But the question is always going to be, has he got the grip to get ahead of Jay and stay ahead? Jay just needs to be consistent now at this stage. Stonecutter, he's going into the pits for what tyre? Oh, did he put on the soft tyres again by accident? So it looks like he's putting on some medium compound tyres. So he put the wrong tyres on in the first stint, knows he needs to put some others on, and is now putting on those mediums. Not awesome is the only way to describe that. Not awesome. So significant work for him to do to close up the gap. Now 17 seconds is the gap. You know, it can happen to the best of us and to the worst of us. We all remember the plonker putting on the intermediates instead of the soft, so easily done. But Stallfly in the lead of this race, and comfortably so. Fastest lap for him was a 1 at 45.9. He's running on the medium tyres, but at 6.6 seconds clear of GMAC, who's also on the medium tyres. I think it's going to be a bit of an uphill task for Wiggy to close that gap. He's still lapping in and around the 146, the high 146s, which is pretty darn good even on those medium tyres. GMAC hasn't got the car dialed in just yet. Finds himself under significant pressure from Wiggy here. Now, can he keep Wiggy at bay? That's the problem, because he's made a mistake somewhere. That's the view I was looking for, that view there. And cost himself some time on that lap. And Wiggy tucked in that slipstream in that Sylvia, looking to make moves on the GMAC. It's a shifty car. What do you mean? Did you mean shitty or shifty? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the BMW, but strangely people voted for it. People wanted it. But then no one wanted to drive it. That's the problem. GMAC does stay ahead side by side. He's with Wiggy. Wiggy just a little bit quicker out of turn. Wiggy up into second place. Those soft tyres making the difference. That gives him some impetus now. He is he's 7.1 seconds back from Stallfly. He's just done a 46.7, which is only about half a second quicker than Stallfly on those mediums. If that's because he was held up, then he should be doing faster laps now. But a significant amount of work to do to take the win here for Wiggy. W is for Wiggy. Is W also for win? We will soon find out. There is G-Back in third place. Top three, I think it's going to be difficult to see them challenge there. G-Back showing some good pace actually. 147.4 on those mediums. Can he stick with Wiggy? You're kind of relying, when you're in this position, particularly top three, you're relying on the car in front to have a little wobble, and when they go through here, mistake fill. Now, when you follow and you look at that, when you follow another car through there, that's the danger of the slipstream and that sort of dirty air travelling in that you so want to have coming out of the final turn here for that extra burst of space down to turn one. You absolutely don't want coming out of the chicane of death because it just unsettles your car so much. Bandit in fourth place, 5.5 seconds behind that top three. Him and TJ both been running very close on the racetrack, and Aussie Rooster getting involved there as well. Aussie, bear in mind he's on those soft compound tyres. I think these BMWs can see themselves getting swallowed up very, very quickly. Wrong strategy again for me. Should have started on those medium compound tyres because they got some good pace on the softs, and they could have capitalised on that in the second half of this race. Although they may have felt they just didn't last the distance. So Bandit getting swallowed up by Aussie. TJ just holding on for the time being. But the Dutch contingent that so dominated the beginning of race number race number one is really much split here in race number two between the Dutch and the British. So Aussie Rooster up to fifth place here at the Dragon Trail in Croatia. Bandit running sixth place, lost out to Aussie there. Old Man Jay holding on in seventh place, holding Fubar at bay. Those soft tyres are going to make the difference for him here. Fubar on those medium tyres, it's that extra bit of traction out the corners that makes all the difference, particularly at tracks like this. When you're racing at a very similar pace, if you can get a slightly better traction out the corner, your tyres grip up when you get out. It doesn't matter how, the car behind you is only a little bit faster. It doesn't make a blind bit of difference because at the end of the day, that grip coming through is what counts. And they go through chicane. Is there going to be a clip? No, there's not. Wobble there from Old Man J. Wobble there from Fubar, but both through safely. Cool Runnings into 9th place. Stonecutter put the wrong tyres on when he went into the pits for his stop. Had to go back in and put on some medium tyres. He is 3 seconds off Fubar, Cool Runnings, but Stonecutter, because of the wrong tyres, is 26. That's 26. You heard it here, folks. 26 seconds behind. And there he is in that V8 Guinness. Wobble, wobble. So there is your leader, Stormfly. He's actually opened up the gap. 8.5 seconds. GMAC back ahead of Wiggy. These two really duking it out to the end of this race. Now, it looks like, to me, that Wiggy's not capitalising on those soft tyres and actually lost a couple of seconds on lap 12 to GMAC here. So GMAC's not done with this yet, despite being on the harder of the two compounded tyres. He wants this top 3. In fact, he wants this 2nd place. And at the moment, it only looks like these two in the running. TJ, the BMW, doing a great job of holding Aussie Rooster at bay. But how long can he do it for? We've still got probably 4 or 5 laps left in this race. 3 or 4 laps left in this race, sorry. So he's still got to hold him off. He's got plenty of fuel this time, though. And actually probably over fuel compared to last time. I suppose when you make a mistake like that, you kind of would. Aussie Rooster just desperately hoping for a little wobble for each game, but he's tucked right in under that wing now. Is there an opportunity going into the final turn? Great run out of that chicane of death. They're side by side, and now he's got him behind him. How long is he going to be behind him? I can't quite find him. Where is he? There he is. He's tucked in behind his TJ. Drops out of that top 4 into the top 5. Aussie Rooster, he's got 8 seconds to make up. If he wants top 3 again, he's got to find 8 seconds from somewhere in essentially 3 laps. Because if he doesn't find it, it's race over for him. But your leader, he's been dominant all day, to be fair. Despite a couple of spins, absolutely on fire today. He is the Kevin of the day. Stormfly has done his thing. He's been actually, other than two little spins, which is sort of par for the course. He's been relatively consistent, but not just consistent. He's been freaking quickety. Here at Dragon Trail, he's been very quick, in fact. But good running from him. Good, solid running from him. Of course, next week we are at Kyoto, Yamagiwa Reverse. I hope I said that right. Yamagiwa Reverse. 2 races there of 30 minutes. Be interested to see what cars are the strongest around there. That's quite a twisty, quick circuit. Wonder if the BMWs will perform well there. So Wiggy still fighting with G-Mac. He's back ahead of him. He's back into 2nd place. We see them both go through that chicane again safely. And it must be every time when you're racing so closely, particularly in the top 3, and you're coming up to that little chicane, every time it must be just like squeaky bum. Can I make sure? What can I do to make sure I make it through? That's got to be what's going through your head. And does that mean that you just let off the power a little bit and take my suggestion of losing half a second through there to guarantee you get through safely? Or is it just, you know what, I'm going to point my car in the direction I think it should go, and if I hit the wall, if it dies, it dies. I know which approach I prefer, but it's not going to happen that way. So Wiggy and G-Mac with a little bit of a battle going on between them. 8.7 seconds back. TJ back and forth. He is in 4th. He is holding off very well now, holding Aussie Rooster at bay. 1.8 seconds the gap now. Despite Aussie being on the soft compound tyres, it looks to me that Aussie had a bad lap there at 150.0, which is why he hasn't been able to make that move on TJ and get ahead. 21 seconds off the leader for him. Bandits had a terrible lap. And Cool Runnings is all over him. So Bandit with a 150 out of 9 seconds on that last lap. Clearly had some crashy action. And Cool Runnings now tucked in behind, looking for a way through. Can he capitalise on it? Old Man Jay involved there as well. Fubar getting on the back of Old Man Jay, 1.2 seconds. And now out of them, It is Bandit on the medium tyres, Old Man J on the soft tyres, Cool Runnings also on the soft compound tyre. Now, with Bandit putting so much pressure on, can he get back at him? But at the moment, Cool Runnings is ahead of him and looking to keep that place too. Old Man J going through, Fubar Phalantis closing up on this battle. And when you're battling out in front, there's always that danger of bringing someone new behind you into the fight, because you're not going full pelt when you're defending. You know, you're trying to pick your lines through there. You want to make sure that you're consistent. You might not be super quick every lap, but that you're consistent and you're hitting your lines. And what that's done is that's created a nice little race train towards the end here. Cool Runnings heads that up ahead of Bandit, who is holding off still from Old Man J. But how long can he hold off for? This is the view from Jay. He's tucked in that slipstream. Did he pull out a little bit too early? I think maybe he did. Or is he just choosing to sit in there into this turn? And we've got this right-hander here. Now, this is about bravery. How late do you dare brake going in here? And I tell you what, that's about right, that. And we've got Fubar. Makes a great move for Fubar. Chucked it up the inside there, coming out. And I said before that your entrance into the turn before is infinitely more important than the entrance to the right-hander, because you can set yourself up for a great exit just by scrubbing off a bit of speed into that first left-hander. You know, I can talk about it, I just got to do it. And that's given Fubar some impetus, and he is up into 8th place and trying to rescue some points after a bad start. Bad start. Old Man J down to 9th place, but Stonecutter just off the pace today. Really off the pace, and he is 34 seconds back in that Aston Martin V8. 10.9 seconds now, he leads this race from Wiggy. There's no point watching Stormfly, we know what he's going to do. He starts lap 17, this will be the final lap of the race for him. Wiggy and GMAC, are they going to duke this out for one more lap? Hell yeah, they are, as they cross the line at 2nd and 3rd place. It looks like will TJ make a lap 17? Will Aussie Rooster make lap 17? It looks like they both got the fuel to do so. TJ a little bit better off as they cross the line. They will get one more lap, so Cool Runnings will come home and finish in 6th. Oh, he might actually make it. He might make it for lap 17, so the pace has been a lot quicker this time out. And what about Fubar? What about Bandit? Do they make it across the line in time? What's Cool Runnings going to do? Is he going to definitely cross? He does. He makes it for lap 17. But Fubar, Old Man J, they all make it through. All make it through to the final lap, just leaving Stonecutter to finish on lap 16. What a finish this is going to be. Everyone bar Stonecutter on the lead lap. Stormfly leading out 11 seconds clear of Wiggy, who's got GMAC just trying to find any chink in the armour, any mistake, any error he can capitalise on and nick that spot from Wiggy. But Wiggy's got that Sylvia purring. 2 second place finishes for him. GMAC holding out to get 3rd in this second race. Certainly improvement from race number 1, where Aussie Rooster jumped in and got that one. But the battle behind, look at this. It's TJ and Aussie Rooster just pushing to the very last. Going to push him, almost push him across the line to make sure he gets that spot. But we'll watch this battle, because I think this battle is going to finish as it is, no real change. But we'll watch him go around the last corner, just in case we have a last second overtake between these. The Wiggy is through. GMAX through. Stormfly wins this race. TJ, he's got Aussie in his slipstream. One last chance into the final turn. Best exit out of here is probably not going to be enough. You need to actually get the overtake done. He's on that power, and here we go. They're going to be racing to the line. Can Aussie Rooster do anything? TJ's got enough fuel on board. That's not going to make the difference. He's closing, but is he closing enough? He's not. TJ takes 4th. Aussie Rooster takes 5th. That'll bring Cool Runnings home in 6th place. Comfortably home in 6th place, actually. 4.8 seconds ahead of Bandit in the end. But Stormfly absolutely dominated this race. There we go. Mr. Cool Runnings home in 6th. Bandit comes home in 7th place, ahead of Old Man J. And Fubar, out of fuel, just trickles up to the line to complete the top 10 here. And what a finish that was. It could have been, at one stage, it could have been anyone for 2nd, anyone for 4th. out of those little battling. But man of the day, Stormfly VR46, absolute dominant start to finish, and that you can't really fault that performance. Was never, once he got in the lead of the race, other than his little wobble in race number 1, he was never really catchable. And if someone's that consistent, it doesn't matter what you do, it's very, very difficult to do that. Aussie Rooster couldn't recreate his heroics and get another podium, but 5th place. Good running from him. He couldn't get past Coast, just couldn't do it in the end there. But it's not all doom and gloom. Fubar comes home in 7th place, just behind Paul Runnings. Jay home in 8th place. Better performance in race number 1. That's what we want, just a little better performance. Fubar home in 9th. Stonecutter finished in 10th place. They pitted for the wrong tyres in the pit window, which cost him dearly. That's the race results updated, and the table. I'm just going to react to. So Star Group leads the way, 160 points. Kevin relegated now to 3rd place. VR46 Stormfly up to 2nd, 144 points. Kevin 77 is in the lead. He's in 3rd. He was the leader going into today. Didn't race. Drops out of that top 2. Aussie Rooster moves himself up to 4th place, 118 points. Cool Running's good performance from him puts him up into 5th on 84 points. GMAC up to 6th on 76. Just 2 points ahead of Fubar in 7th. Ghost back on 61 points. Yes, just starts to drop down the order as we would expect. Bandit up to 10th place, 56 points for him. Then it's Forza Ferrari and Ranger before we hit Jay, 49, who's up to 13th place on 45 points. But if Forza and Ranger continue to not race in this GR4, I'm sure we'll see them moving up the order. Stonecutter moves himself off the bottom of the table up to 17th with 20 points for him. So there we go. Stormfly wins 2 races from 2 today. Great performances all round. It's been some really, really good, fair on-track racing today. Chicane of Death has taken quite a few casualties today, and that's what you would usually expect anyway, because it's just one of those kind of tracks that just takes so many casualties. But done and dusted for our first race of 2023, and we move on. We're back tomorrow for F1 2022 with LNR. That's at 8:45, and then Wednesday for the final round of the Open GR3. All that's left to say really is thanks very much for joining me. This has been part with Black Flag Racing TV and the GR4 Lottery Season 2 Round 4 at Dragon Trail Seaside. Congratulations to your top 3, Stormfly, Wiggy and GMAC, and Aussie Rooster in round number 1.
Mm-hmm.